We're the ones. Someone wants you to quit, so keep going. What's up, it's Gene. This word to be great. It doesn't matter what you want to accomplish in life. You're going to always have those individuals who want you to quit. They don't want you to succeed. They want to see you fail. And if you got somebody in your life right now, I want you to put a comment below and put yes. Because we all will have to deal with somebody in our life that will want us to quit on our dream. And what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to give you 5 things to look for that will let you know that somebody wants you to quit. 1, you remind them of their lack of discipline. You see, discipline is one of the hardest things to have. A lot of us don't have discipline. That's why we don't make progress. I remember years ago when I was in the speech club and I was going every day and I was giving speeches. And I became friends with this guy who was also in there to work on his communication skills. Now, he and I had the same dream. We wanted to be motivational speakers, but I was taking it seriously. Every time I came to the club, I gave a speech. I would write my speech, but it seemed like every time I went and it was time for him to speak, he never had a speech to give. And what eventually happened was I went from speaking in that speech club to taking opportunities to speak outside the club. And I'll never forget when I got my first opportunity to speak at a school. I went to the school, I did the best I could, and I bombed that speech. And I went back and I told my friend, I said, man, I got this speech at this school. It was terrible. I did a very bad job. And he looked at me with a grin on his face. He said, man, you shouldn't go outside the club and speak like that. You should just give this up, man. That's a sign that this is not for you. You should stay in the club and keep working on your skills and not go out there again. You see, what he was trying to do is get me to quit because my willingness to go out and speak outside the club reminded him of his lack of discipline. And see, you got somebody in your life right now, they want you to quit because every time they see you taking action on your dream, every time they see you taking action on your goal, it reminds them of their lack of discipline. But do not quit, instead keep going. 2, they have a negative mindset. I remember one time I was talking to a friend of mine and I told them that I was working on my communication skills to be a professional speaker. And that individual said to me, that sounds impossible. I don't think you'd be able to do that. If you really had a gift to be able to speak, why would you have to work on your skills? Why are you practicing? Do you see pastors do that? They give up and give sermons every week. And I looked at the individual and I said, let me ask you a question. Do you think LeBron James or Michael Jordan do not practice on their basketball skills? Do you think they just got that good by sitting back and relying on their talent? And he said, no. I said, well, it's the same thing with my communication skills. I have to practice to get better. I don't care what that pastor does. I don't care what that individual does. Whatever it is a person does in life, they will have to practice. They will have to develop their skill. That's the only way you can succeed. You see, that individual had a negative mindset. And the reason they said that is because they couldn't see themselves being successful at something. And when you have a dream you're trying to accomplish and you run to somebody with a negative mindset, they're going to try to question what you're doing. They're going to try to put doubt in your mind. And you have to be wise enough and smart enough to realize the fact this person has a negative mindset. They're trying to pollute your mindset with their negativity. But instead of allowing that person to pollute your mind and cause you to quit, you have to make sure you keep going. 3, seeing you quit will make them feel better about themselves. So a lot of people have this false notion that if somebody else quit at going after their dream, it's going to make them feel better about themselves because they don't have to see you making progress in your life. You see, a lot of people, instead of them going after the thing they want, they like to tear other people down. They see somebody trying to succeed, and instead of encouraging that person, instead of helping them when they're discouraged, they were trying to find ways to get them to quit. I remember I had a friend at college, and he had a dream of being a model. He talked about it all the time. And he finally had the courage to go out there and put himself out there. He joined this modeling agency. Well, the mistake he made was telling one of our other friends his dream, and that individual told him that he wouldn't be successful as a model. He didn't look good enough. And instead of my friend keep going with his dream, he decided to quit. And I remember one day we was having a conversation. I asked him, I said, man, how's the modeling thing going? He said, man, I gave it up. I said, why? He said, well, I don't feel I'm gonna be good at it. I said, you've been talking about this all the time. What happened? He said, well, I was talking to so-and-so, and he told me that modeling don't seem like something I could be successful at. He told me I didn't look good enough, and I got very discouraged, so I just gave it up. You see, my friend quit on this dream when he should have kept going. And a lot of y'all, you about to make the same mistake. You have a dream that you want to accomplish, and instead of you accomplishing it, you let somebody else talk you into quitting on your dream so they can feel better about themselves. You see, some of y'all are making the same mistake as my friend. You have a dream you want to accomplish, and you'll let some negative, miserable, bitter person talk you out of it. But if you want that dream to become a reality, you have to make up your mind that you're not going to quit. 4, they resent your progress. I remember when I first finished my book, Overcoming Empty Closet, I told one of my friends who was also a writer. Now, he and I have been saying we want to be authors for many years, but the difference between him and myself is that I would take action. And when I came out with the book, I told him, and all of a sudden, he started to be very, very negative towards me, and I couldn't figure out why. You see, he was resenting my progress. He resented the fact I became an author and he wasn't. He resented the fact that I was very aggressive about realizing my dream. And some of y'all out there, you're making progress in your life, and it's causing resentment in others because they're not making progress. They're not going after things they want, so therefore they resent you for doing so. So you have to make up your mind, no matter what somebody may resent about your progress, that you're going to keep going. You're going to keep believing, and you're not going to stop just because somebody else resent you. 5, they envy your ambition. See, ambition is golden. A lot of people want ambition, but the problem is they don't have the belief in themselves to make that ambition a reality. And when you're somebody, you taking action towards your dreams, you trying to make things happen. Those that lack the ambition to do so will become very envious. I remember when I first wanted to start my business, I had a friend who also wanted to do so. And when I went down there and I created my LLC, I started making my marketing materials and doing everything. I was sharing it with him. And what I failed to realize is that was going to spark envy, that was going to spark jealousy. He got very negative. He started talking down about the things I was doing, and I could not figure out why. But over time, I realized what the problem was. See, he lacked ambition. He didn't want to go down there and start his own business. He wanted to talk about it. He didn't have the ambition to go and take action on the thing he wanted. And when he see me making progress, when he see I had the ambition, when I was going out speaking, when I was writing books, instead of him being inspired by that, he became a hater. And a lot of you guys out there, you're very ambitious. You're making things happen in life. And you have to be very, very mindful of the fact that when you have ambition and somebody else doesn't, they will become very jealous. They will become envious. But despite that, that is not your problem. You have to stay committed to your dreams. You have to stay committed to your goals, because only you can make them become a reality, and it's not your business to worry about somebody else's lack of ambition. These are the 5 things to watch out for, because somebody out there wants you to quit, and you have to make sure you keep going. Because if you want that dream to become a reality, if you want to make that great vision inside of you be realized in your life, you have to keep going. So keep going for your dreams, keep going for your goals, because you are worthy to be great. If you like this video, I want to ask you to like and share this video. Also, hit that bell so anytime I post a new video, you are notified. I also want to ask you to join my Word to Be Great newsletter. This newsletter is designed to help you build your self-worth, your self-discipline, your self-confidence so you can achieve your dream. So click the link below and join my newsletter today.